Our next speaker is the Executive Director of Sister Song, the National Women of Color Reproductive Justice Collective. Sorry about that. Monica, help me welcome Monica Ray Simpson.
Good morning, everybody. Is it still morning? Okay, good afternoon. Great. It really is an honor to be here today. I am just very, very grateful for being able to share this stage with so many amazing women and men who are doing amazing work across the country. But again, yes, my name is Monica Simpson, but she didn't hear that the first time. And I have the honor of serving as the Executive Director of Sister Song, the National Women of Color Reproductive Justice Collective. And since 1997, we have worked to strengthen and amplify the collective voices of Indigenous women and women of color to achieve reproductive justice by eradicating all forms of reproductive oppression and securing human rights. And we are here today because we firmly believe that in order for our mission to be achieved, that it is imperative that women, especially women of color and Indigenous women, who have labored and suffered for this country, have the equality that they deserve. We are here because, like Fannie Lou Hamer said, we are sick and tired of being sick and tired. 30 years is way too long for anybody to wait to be seen as equal. We are here because we are committed to this national movement to educate our communities on the ERA in order to gain the support we need to get what we need to get this thing ratified and solidified. Sister Song is the only national Southern-based RJ organization, and it is important to mention that because of the states, of all the states who have not yet ratified the ERA, most of them are Southern states, including Georgia, where I currently live, and North Carolina, the state where I was born and raised. We understand that building power in the South is crucial to ensuring the victory that we all want. But we all also know the history of the South all too well. And we know that communities of color, and more specifically women of color that live in the South, are still suffering the most. Our reproductive freedom is under attack. We are losing our clinics. Mississippi is down to just one. Abortion bans are popping up all over the country, and as we saw with Hobby Lobby, employers are trying to dictate our rights. Reproductive oppression, good folks, is alive and well in this country. Our economic security is under attack. It's true that women make 77 cents to that of their male counterpart, but it's even lower when we talk about communities of color and women of color. Our health is under attack. We saw this in Hobby Lobby, but in the South, we see this with the lack of Medicaid expansion that would provide care for thousands of women and their families, and that would help eliminate the health disparities plaguing the South and killing our communities. And it would curb the maternal mortality rates that have Black women in the South dying at a rate 4 times that of their white counterparts. Mothers are under attack, like Marissa Alexander, who's facing 60 years in prison for protecting herself and her family, and the pregnant women who are being arrested and jailed for substance abuse issues instead of being rehabilitated and able to stay with their families. And as hard as it is for me to say this, our children are literally under attack. Trayvon Martin, Jordan Davis, Mike Brown, Renisha McBride, Kendrick Johnson, and countless other young warriors gone far too soon. The massive cuts in food stamps, all of these things are leading to the dismantling of our families. And like Sister Song, there are many great organizations and individuals who are doing great work around these issues, but we know as women, and especially as women of color, that our voices are being silenced and ignored. And why is that? Why do we feel that is? Because our legislators recognize our power as women. In 2012, women played a large part in President Barack Obama's re-election. And women of color currently make up 18% of the United States population. And by 2050, the Census Bureau estimates that they will comprise 27% of the population. And when you hear these types of demographics, it's easy to understand why voter suppression is an issue that we must address. Voter suppression is a strategy or to influence the outcomes of an election by discouraging or preventing certain people from exercising their right to vote. It's a real issue, especially in the South. And we have voter ID laws popping up that's really preventing those communities who vote more progressively from getting their voices heard. And the Supreme Court made matters worse when they effectively struck down the heart of the Voting Rights Act of 1965, freeing 9 states, mostly in the South, to change their election laws without advance federal approval. And we can't ignore the over-criminalization and over-sentencing of marginalized communities that lead to more of those folks behind bars. So it is clear who they really don't want to exercise their vote. We must recognize our power individually and collectively. We must stand, whether physically or in spirit, in our power, individually and collectively. Our voices and our votes are needed in order for this world, in order for us to have a world where women, despite race, sexual orientation, ability, immigration status, or any other ism, have the human right to live self-determined lives. Today we give honor to Alice Paul and Crystal Eastman, the writers of the ERA that was introduced to Congress in 1923. But as a black woman born and raised in the South, I have to also give honor to my ancestors like Sojourner Truth, who delivered her speech, Ain't I a Woman, in 1851 that demanded that she be seen as equal. We have always resisted. It is time for a new South. I want to go on record today saying that. It is time for a new South. And that begins with demanding that our southern states come to the table correct for women and make sure that the ERA is implemented. We must fight for our freedom. We must fight for our justice. It will take all of us to get to the other side where freedom and justice and equality are realities for everyone.